let's go over this warm-up. When you find the molar mass of CO2, you need the mass of carbon on the periodic table. Carbon is 12.01. You also need the mass of oxygen, which is 16.00.
That's where my phone went.
When you multiply those things out, you also have to add them up. And you end up, I ran out of space, you end up with a mass of 44.01. That's how many grams are equal to 1 mole for carbon dioxide. Gentlemen, Kyle, go back to your seat, please. I wouldn't have to ask you to if you would, just quietly listen. The quiz is going to be very similar to this warm-up, just like they have been all frickin' year.
All freaking year.
Okay. Looking at number 2.
That's what she said.
Garrett, hush, please. Kyle, do it quietly, please. Number 2, we see the word moles and the word grams. When you see the word moles, how many fractions do you need? 2. So you draw your 2 fractions. Always, don't do anything fancy. Take the number they gave you and put it on the first fraction over 1. Always. You should never put a number on this first fraction unless they gave it to you in the problem. Don't go taking extra numbers from the periodic table or anything and putting them here. This is the spot where the number they gave you goes. Now, I have moles on top.
Sorry.
I have moles on top. Where else do moles need to go?
Bottom.
On the bottom. What goes up must come down. Go ahead, Kyle.
Is it 8.1 mole or just 1?
What?
Is it 1 mole? At the bottom?
Yes, whenever you need a number of moles, it's always 1 mole. That uses moles twice, so we're going to switch. The only other color in this problem is yellow, so we're going to switch to grams. And we need a number of grams of CO2. Did we get a number of grams of CO2 already somewhere? Yes, that's this 44.01. We're just going to use that. And then you're just going to stick this in your calculator.
Where did we get that 1 underneath the mole?
That one, whenever you write your first fraction, there's always a 1 on the bottom of it. Yes. Okay, when you multiply these out and round it to 2 decimal places, you should get this for your answer, 356.48. When we look at number 2, I see that grams are yellow, and they're asking for atoms of oxygen. Atoms are blue. When it's yellow and blue, how many fractions do I need? 3. Sebastian, quit distracting Teddy. Okay, what goes on top of the first fraction, always?
Moles.
No. The number they gave you, always. The number they gave you goes here, always. And on the bottom of that first fraction, what always goes on the bottom? 1, always. Okay? And then this unit that's on top always goes on the diagonal. Always. What goes up must come down.
What goes up must come down.
That uses grams twice. Now we're done with grams. And I need to switch. From grams, can I switch straight from yellow to blue? Can I go from grams straight to atoms?
No.
No. What has to be in the middle? Moles in the middle. From yellow and blue, in the middle has to be green. Between grams and atoms, you have to have moles in the middle. And then again, what goes up must come down. So we're going to use moles over here too. That uses moles twice. So I'm done with moles also. 1, 2, they're done. What is the last thing I switched to? Atoms. Well, we do switch to blue. Is carbon dioxide, is that an atom? That's actually a molecule. Pay attention. They gave us a molecule. They gave us a molecule, which means if they give us a molecule, but they're asking for atoms, this is one of those ones where you do your fractions and then there's an extra step at the end. This is one of those ones, if they give you a molecule, but they ask for atoms, you have to do your fractions and then do an extra step at the end. The fractions don't change though. What number goes in front of moles always? 1. Molecules are blue. When it's blue, you use 6.02. Always. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Kyle, do you have a question?
Shut up, dog.
Or, okay.
You weren't even looking at it.
I was just asking if you had a question. Clayton, do you have a question?
No, I got it.
Okay, could you get it without talking, please? Thank you.
Riley was
Cameron, hush.
He was trying to finish.
Cameron, if I have been asking other people to hush, that also means I do not want you to start talking, okay?
well, but I was
No. Hush. Hush.
Kevin, stop.
No, we're having me a monologue, you not talking. Thanks. Riley, you're going home.
Dang it.
Okay, grams come from the periodic table. We already found a periodic table number, so we're going to just use that same one again. And when you put that in your calculator, oh my God, Kyle. When you put that in your calculator, that gives you a number of molecules. And again, they asked for atoms of oxygen.
Bye, Riley.
Right, Riley.
Yeah, Gary, that's how it's put it down.
How many oxygens are in carbon dioxide?
No problem.
How many oxygens are in carbon dioxide? 2. That means since they want oxygen and there are 2 oxygens in CO2, that means we're going to multiply times those 2 atoms of oxygen. And when you multiply it by 2, that's going to get you your final answer. So this is a problem where you have to do the extra step.
Shut up, Louise.
Like the ones on the bottom of page 41. Luis, do you have a question for me? I can't understand why anyone would be talking unless they have a question. So Luis, do you have a question? Is that why you're talking? Because again, I don't know why anyone would be talking while I'm talking unless they had a question for me. What is your question, Luis?
You already answered something.
Oh, so maybe you should stop talking then.
You're right.
Thank you. Okay. For the bottom one, we've got molecules and grams. So again, blue and yellow, how many fractions do you need? 3. Blue and yellow, you're always going to need 3 fractions. If they don't say moles, you need 3 fractions. On top of the first fraction, always goes what? The number they gave you always goes on top of the first fraction. Cameron. You know what, Cameron, why don't you walk me through the rest of this problem? What do I do next? Cameron, what do I do next?
Alright, so basically what you're going to want to do
Uh-huh.
is you're going to want to, in the second bottom,
Uh-huh.
you're going to want to put 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power.
Why is that number going to go there?
Because that's molecules, and molecules has a relation to atoms, and that always goes there unless they have a number given for you.
Okay, yeah, so since molecules was on top, they also had to come on bottom.
Yep. And
Next to
one
molecules,
above
you...
it because green is the hippie, so it has to go in the middle.
Okay.
Green is equation.
So after molecules, we have to switch to green, which is moles. Moles in the middle.
Yep. And then
Yep.
that's always 1 unless there's a given.
That's always 1 unless it's the given, yep.
And then another 1 mole at the bottom right, so when you're done with mole.
Uh-huh. What goes up must come down, so moles had to come down here.
And then you use the CO2 that you got from number 1 on the top right.
As, what's the unit that goes up here?
Grams.
Grams. We were done with moles because we'd used moles twice, so we switched to grams.
44.01.
And yes, just like the others on this page, we had 44.01 grams from the periodic table.
Mr. Sinsky,
It's a multiplying.
Mr. Sinsky, he's
Yes,
a good teacher.
he's all right.
He got me through this, so.
Good. Okay, if you put this in your calculator,
Anything else, stop.
you should get this 106.00 grams. Remember, we always rounded 2 decimal places, even if those are zeros. All right, close your books, stack your books on the pink numbers, stack your phones on top of your books. We're taking a quiz. You are allowed to use colors on the quiz if you want them. Make sure you have a calculator as well. I'm going to turn the lights back on.
All we have to do is pass this quiz, right?
I mean,
Now I have to ever
That's-
use colors again.
right, yes.
Do we have to use colors on this?